Hello, welcome to week one, everybody. We have launched Myth and Ritual for the week. I'll kind of give you the big overarching overview introduction in the start here section of kind of how the class is going to go and how we're going to kind of make it function and how we're going to kind of move in and out. We're going to specifically look at a case study this week in week one. Myth is complicated. It's something that you need to keep in mind when you are reading about myths and learning myths and revisiting myths from different cultures, is to keep in mind that while a myth is a story, it never is just one story. Myths are multi-layered. There's a term that's used in anthropology and in linguistic studies that's called polyvalency. It's a great word, isn't it? It means many-voiced. There are many stories and many layers that are told in cultural myths. So there's never just one way to hear it or one way to listen to it. The other thing that we're going to be looking at with regard to myth is if a myth is living, if it is really, really vibrant and vital to a culture, especially an existing culture, they never stay embedded in stone. Myths, in order to remain vital like any other part of a culture, change all the time. Now, with our case study this week, we're going to kind of take an old familiar classic, a tale that is a really, really well-known myth in Western culture, especially in Europe and the Western countries, and it's the creation story out of Genesis in the Bible. This story kind of loosely called the Garden of Eden or Adam and Eve. You may find some surprises here. Now, there's probably a lot of you that are thinking, well, I already know that story. I remember growing up hearing it. Or, well, you're going to really listen to it this time. And we're going to kind of unravel this myth as it was originally presented, and we're going to look at how this myth has changed. So we'll kind of take a myth that we initially know as being familiar to our culture and really kind of get in and try to figure out what other stories it's actually telling. So we have sort of a multimedia approach here. You will be listening. Most myths started out as oral traditions, as we were saying in the introduction, so you'll be listening to an actor tell the story. And we'll also be kind of looking through the annals of art history. I know what you're thinking. What? Art history? Again? No, I'm an anthropologist. We're going to look at them differently. And we're going to look at images of Adam and Eve and how has the making of the image of this myth over time changed the myth itself. And we're going to do some discussion and reflection on this as well. So you'll have some reading to do this week, you'll have some listening to do this week, you'll have some viewing to do this week, and we'll do a nice reflective discussion. And we'll, if a terminology comes up in the reading that you want to address in the discussion, we certainly can do that too. So enjoy week one, and I will see you in the discussion forum to talk about Genesis.